streaming. Oh, it says we have an excellent connection. What do you know about that? This is there with the hammer. Fantastic. I noticed that the H2O bottle had some green muck in the bottom. It was muck. So I took it and I rinsed it out and I put the tiniest drop of quat in there. And then I filled it. So I'm just going to let it sit overnight and then I'll come back and drain it again and put fresh water in it again. It's been filled for like a couple of years, so it's understandable it was undergoing some of the life processes that are seeming to be inevitable in this area.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm not pro-life, so yeah.
Something on this?
Say who what?
Did I use something on this
To do what?
to get that grease off?
That's probably scratch.
What? You sure?
Well, you wanted painted wheels, eh? As opposed to the chrome wheels.
Because they're cheaper.
Because they were cheaper? I thought you said you didn't like the way the chrome ones looked.
Pretty sure the chrome ones are more expensive.
I didn't talk about that. I said you said that the painted ones look better to you than the chrome ones, and you didn't want the chrome ones because they didn't look right.
I may have said that instead of saying the painted ones are cheaper.
That is absolutely silly. We're spending thousands of dollars on this car to save like $150 and not get the thing you want is silly.
They probably overlapped.
All right.
They're beautiful.
Please inform me if you're going to be doing any silly shenanigans like that again.
Saving a little bit of money?
Correct. Because if you end up not really liking the car that much because it doesn't have the stuff, you'll be like, I don't know, I'm not wild about it. Then what's that worth? Oh, I bet we can put the old hubs back on here for the cleaning process. Yeah. Then we can get them as dirty as we want. Okay, full time. One, two, five, one, 1, 2, 5, 1, 5, 2, 2. pardon me while I make the loud sounds. Okay, here we go. Next side. Okay. Here we go. What do you think? Now you're just going to reform this little bit here by punching it into a soft
Whoa,
something or other.
look at this nut.
Hmm? They may have hit something with the car. Oftentimes the undersides of cars get extra abused. What happened to our light? Did it die? We have no more light?
I hit something.
A rheostat? A kitty cat? What's going on here? Seems like this thing's kind of closed up. All right, so let's talk about your approach with this thing. Here are two hammers. You can do this reformation with a combination of pliers to bend that thing with and impact. So if you'll notice, there's a couple elements of the dent. I would say, well, what elements do you notice and how would you hammer them out? Let's take this off and we'll put this over here. Oops, not that one. Sorry, viewers, for the roughness.
Well, this bend looks pretty symmetrical.
It is. I would say it has two shapes, two components. You have to break it down into XYZ components.
Well, there's a bowing in at the bottom,
Okay.
and then it points out a little bit in the back corner.
Okay. So the best way to address deviations in metal, especially steel, because it's so malleable typically, is progressively. And so you don't try to do it all in one shot, or all from one angle, or all with one hammer, or one tool. You try to do a little bit here and see what happens, and a little bit there and you see what happens. So you're always trying to adjust for what the metal is able to do. And there is such a thing as called work hardening, which, tell me what that is.
As you continue working on a piece of metal, it gets harder and less easy to change.
Correct. And you can anneal it to restore that function, but we're not going to be annealing this piece of metal.
Yep.
It doesn't have a lot of carbon in it anyway, so it's not going to work harden too much, but it has enough. It'll work harden. So, let's see. Does it come down here? Yeah, so it's going to need to be pounded that way there. And it comes in here, so it's going to need to be pounded that way there. And I guess that's it. It almost looks like it comes up a little bit there, but you'll maybe address that with the hit here. So how do you want to start?
Probably hitting in from this side, because going down here, material that was supposed to be on this level is now moved back here.
How do you figure?
Because it was pushed out this way. Or actually, it comes forward, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
Seems like
stretched.
it. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it matters.
Okay, so give it a shot. See what you think.
Should I use a flat tool for this backside?
Sure, you can. Yeah. Maybe this one is kind of good hit. Could be hit. No. It's a little tricky to try to think how to do it. I don't think these are very hard in here. They look like they're hard, but I don't think they really are. And it wouldn't be useful to make them into a new non-rectangular shape. I do have some dollies that you can hammer upon. Do any of these look attractive? This guy, is that attractive? No. You want to hit flat there. So is that attractive like that? I hit like so. One more of those. Is that what you're thinking? One more level up. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. So if you go like that, can you hit it there? That help you out? Maybe, yeah. So kind of curl around. Let's see if I've got anything else. I got a taller one, I think. A taller one. That's a little more rounded. That's not quite going to do it. And again, you're going to try to do it so that when you pound, you get a direct drive. It doesn't try to rotate the tool that you're using. Here, let's see this. Does that work like so? How about that? If you pound that way, think that'll work? Get your hand not near the bunch. Your fingers not near the bunch.
What bunch?
Well, where you're going to be hitting.
So not like this?
Well, you're using kind of a small hammer, so you just want to be careful. You're probably going to have to hit a lot harder than that to get it to do anything. You've got to exceed the yield point of the metal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Let's see if I can wipe this off.
It might be a little
Something changed?
better.
Beaver needs to avert his or her eyes while I try to get this thing closer. I don't know if that's going to work. Stellar. There he is. Just keep working at it. I'm going to work on this camera mount. So, leave that there. Oop, not this one. Red Dutch. Red Dutch. Thought I saw it, but I don't. Do you notice any change in the shape yet?
I think it's a little bit less
Okay.
pronounced.
All right. Okay. That's great.
Still a little bit.
Wow, it's really moving. Good job. Okay, well, don't correct one side to the exclusivity of the others, because as you move one, the others may be modified. So you want to approach it tangentially as opposed to directly. Interstellar.
Would you check?
Sure.
Oh wait, hang on.
Okay.
But there's still a dip. Something.
Wow, that is some really nice metal work. Great job.
It's coming in a little bit still.
Yeah, to me it looks like it needs a hit here, but not at the very corner, about halfway back.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that, but it's either sliding or I don't like it's hitting this right.
Mm-hmm. Are you starting kind of in the middle there? Mm-hmm, right? Yep, and just one hit.
See, it's moving.
Well, don't do the double tap. Just hover and then tap, and I'd use the side of the hammer. There you go. Just do that about 20 times and see what happens. I can make the tool sharper as well. Right now it's a little bit set up for the contour of the elbow. I could change the shape of the tool. That's looking like a really good job, though. I'm impressed. You're a sculptor. A metal bender. Sculptress.
I don't know if I'm hitting it in the right spot.
Looks better to me. From this far away. Looks better. really. It just needs to be the correct shape so it doesn't rub. Right? It needs to not rub on the cast.
It's. How would you recommend I bring the bottom up? This lip?
Uh-huh.
So it came down when I did that?
Let's see. Hold it so our friends on TV can see. All right, so what do you want to do with
This
it?
Bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
It's lower. I think if I hit it.
It's lower.
You didn't see that?
Well, also consider the fact that there's a ramp angle. It's a little different between here and there. So if you were to inscribe this on a piece of paper, would it form a nice arc, or is there the bump up or bump down that you're suggesting? Or is the bump up and bump down maybe in the middle of the thing or in the back of the thing as opposed to the front edge? That's what you have to decide. But you're just going to get it to about 80 to 85%, and then you're going to say, I've spent enough time on that, it'll definitely work.
I don't know how to fix this.
Well, as I've suggested subtly already, you should stick it on the doodad and see how it fits. I believe that's it. Is there a washer that's missing, or are you concerned because it's going all the way far down? Or probably there's no washer there. Probably just it's indiscernible, except to the most trained sculptor's eye.
Definitely discernible.
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 Oops. Sorry, viewers. Viewer. Looks fantastic for 8:55 on a school night. So what do you say? Fantastic. Say it's a winner.
Did you say only 80%?
Mm-hmm. 80%. That's good enough.
Okay.
Okay, so what we should do now is pop it out, and do you want to paint the back at all so it doesn't rust in there?
Sure.
Okay, and one thing you will want to do is tape off this seal track because we don't need any paint. In fact, we don't want any paint where that seal is going to ride. And it won't rust because a little bit of oil will be on the back side of the seal track, always present. So just put a piece of masking tape around that, the outer portion of that, just up to where the seal, or where this dust excluder is, or a little bit shy of that. And then we can do the final clean on it and paint it up. And of course, it will be painted along with the rest of the differential, but you're just going to get the inside down. It's the end of the world as we know it. Now I've got a chisel that is no longer a chisel, but it's a rounded pounding thing. Which I must say, there have been times in the past when I wish I had just such a non-chisel chisel. So this will be good. I think I'll give it a
That one?
paint job. Yeah, that's great. So then just wipe it off with lacquer thinner, nice and clean. And then you hit it with the same
put
paint.
tape over here to not get paint in here?
Oh, you could stick part of a greasy old rag in there. Paper towel. Here's one from the floor. You got it. It will be great. I feel fine. Oops.
Okay.
Okay.
Painting it with what?
Well, how about that same gloss black?
Just automatically gloss black or any other thing?
No, gloss black. 'Cause, do you want it like purple or something?
No.
Okay.
We'll go outside.
Yeah, just go outside. Remember, the evaporation rate of the solvent is going to be lower because it's dark out and
I'm
cold.
just painting this.
Yeah, just the inside.
What
I mean, you
happens
could.
if
Hmm?
What happens if I get this?
Well, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. But it might be rubbed off by our subsequent cleaning process.
Mhm.
But no worries. Any way you do it. I could probably paint in here while you're doing nothing. We'll do that. Maybe it's not going to matter. Because in the painting process, prep process, it's going to get dark in. Okay. Well, that tape didn't stick. How unfortunate. It's the end of the world as we know it. Let's see, we'll go like this. Excuse me. Oops. That's fine. Guys don't care. It's the end of the grass as we know it. Oh, let's see here.
Yeah, the water's on me.
Yeah.
I didn't really get the size. Maybe.
That's fine. As long as it's something, I mean, it's gonna be better than nothing. You can hit it again if you want. Okay.
Thanks for putting the seal.
Yeah. We hit it once again. Just a little shot. Done. 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 Okay.
Now what?
Well, now we stick that on there with the anti-seize along these threads and the regular old grease.
Is this anti-seize?
That is not. That is seize.
With the white stuff?
No. No, it is grease that has metallic zinc flakes embedded into it. Here it is. The purpose of which is to oxidize. It's kind of ooky. Try not to get this on the seal. So what?
Or my eyebrow?
Oh no! Oh my gosh! How
That's
retarded.
okay.
Let's see. So you'll want to use a fine. Oh, you could use that thing I gave you before. A little spatula.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have done it before we put the seal in, but I wasn't quite sure how difficult that was going to be. It kind of gets all over everything, which is sort of its job.
Just on these?
Yeah, in the splines. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's plenty fine. Yep. Probably less than that, so you want to scrape it and scrub it. So a lot of times things corrode because of galvanic potential differences, meaning the electronegativity of a metal has a certain value, and so electrons tend to want to be around it with a certain affinity. And then if there's another metal adjacent to it, and the electrons want to be around that thing with a certain affinity that's different than the first one, well then what are the electrons going to do?
I wasn't really following.
Okay, so you have metal 1 adjacent to metal 2. Metal 1 has a property called electronegativity. That means that the electrons that are orbiting around the cluster of metal atoms have a particular affinity for their parent, their host. And then you have the other metal, metal 2, that's adjacent to metal 1, and its electron cloud, or group of electrons, have a slightly different level, a magnitude of an affinity to their host. Let's say it's more. So what happens when you put those two metals adjacent to each other?
Well, the ones on the second metal, with metal B, have a stronger affinity, but for their metal.
Yeah, and since all electrons are the same part number, then what happens?
Well, it wouldn't change the affinity of the other metal.
It wouldn't. Correct. However, there's less affinity there. So what would happen? And more affinity on the other one.
I don't see why anything would change.
Okay.
If the only relationships that are stated are
The affinity.
electrons A want to go to their metal, and electrons B want to go to their metal, but more than electrons A want to go to their metal. Electrons A don't want to go to metal B.
Says who? All electrons are the same part number. They're no different.
So whichever metal is closer, the electrons will go to that. Is it a location thing?
Well, it's partly a location thing. It's an affinity thing.
Maybe
If
I
you
don't
put those
understand
two-
affinity.
Okay, so let's say you go out to a movie with Larry,
and Sheila goes out to a movie with Daryl, and you get there, and Sheila all of a sudden starts crushing on Larry. Well, Daryl's going to be kind of sitting by himself because you and Sheila are going to be hanging out with Larry.
So in this case, is Larry middle A and
Correct.
I have bigger affinity for. I mean, wait.
Everybody, all the electrons have a bigger affinity for Larry.
Wait. Okay.
Oh, did I agree correct? I should have said, yeah, Daryl gets left out in the cold,
Yeah.
and the 2 electrons go with Larry.
So does the kind of metal affect the affinity, or does
Sure.
it? Oh.
One of them's aluminum and one of them's iron.
Oh. Well, then electrons A would go to metal B.
What do we call it when electrons move?
Heat.
No.
Electricity.
Yes, sort of. That's what the commoners call it.
I am.
We call it current. So, like, molecules of water flow across a rock in the stream. That's the current. Electrons flow from metal Larry to, or metal Daryl to metal Larry. It's current. And whenever you have a current, you have what?
Charge. No. Mm.
There's a corrosion process that happens, electrolytic exchange. But I don't know why that causes corrosion. Maybe when, maybe it promotes oxidation through the change in charge around the metal. That must be it. Yeah. So the metal that experiences electron change is going to be either more or less susceptible to oxidization. And when that happens, you get rust. So if you put dissimilar metals together, they have different galvanic potentials, potential to hold electrons. They tend to rust. So what the zinc does is it allows electrons to flow between metal A and metal B across the zinc particles. And the zinc itself will tend to oxidize or rust or corrode. And so if you open one of these cans of grease with the zinc in it, it's not going to be nice and silver after 15 years. It's going to be dark. Well, I guess you have to allow it to be exposed to air because the oxygen will become part of the zinc there. So you know how the I-beam in the kitchen is kind of like a dark metal color?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at something like this zinc-coated nut, actually that's not zinc, but a lot of these types of fasteners on modern stuff, well, these are zinc-coated. This is the same color as the I-beam in the kitchen. But the I-beam in the kitchen sat outside for years, and so it developed a zinc oxide on the outside. Which that has too, but it's clear and thin.
Alright. This stuff on here.
Let's see, what kind of nut is it? It's a nylon nut. I would say probably a little bit of grease just past the start. Don't put grease here because we want the nylon to hold. So a little bit of grease at the end is good. Does that have a keyway on it? No, it's just, is it this? Yeah, it's this doodad. Okay. So now we'll just put a little bit of grease on like threads 4 through the end there. but not the first few. Because you want that nylon to grab something dry.
Okay.
Okay. And so let's get the grease out. So you saw where I was pointing? Just in there, it's good. There you go. I'll give you this one instead. That's great. And then lubricate the back side of the nut and both sides of the washer. And then we'll put it together. We need to figure out a way to hold it while we tighten it. What's that going to be? A big chunk of steel. Don't know. I had a bar outside. So hot. Oh my gosh. Ooh, burned it up. Probably burning calories is what's going on. Yeah, that'll work.
I think this is dry.
Great. Can you lift up the nose of that differential and I'm going to put something. I'm not going to put something. I'm going to try. Try to put something in there. I was thinking this would be a little bit more stout, but I don't know that it will. Don't put your fingers there; they're gonna get hurt. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That's probably not gonna stay. We'll figure something out as we go through this day. All right, so go ahead and put the bolt back on, the nut back on. Is that this guy here?
Oh, that bolt? Not this?
Yeah. Did you sauce the inside? Just put a little sauce on the inside of that. And put a little grease on the outside where the seal track is. And we'll be doing just fine. Hey, it's a great fit.
Put what on what?
Well, that seal needs to run on some grease because we don't have any oil in the differential right now. So
A seal? Mr. Runner Grease.
yeah.
Where I had the tape, put grease.
Sorry.
Where I had the tape.
Yeah. Yeah, where you have the tape. Oh, it's raining again. What do you know? It says it's 77 in here. No wonder it's super hot. Oh my gosh. '77 indeed. Oh, let's see here. Got some ears, got some tape. You got some mark it with the pen.
And then I'll roll on.
Right. Okay, grab that socket for that ratchet. Set it to 2. Now, hang on, we're going to need to monitor it, so I put some marks on this socket. So use that one. Now, what I want you to do, if you want me to do it, I can, or you can do it.
But what I want you to do is try to turn it until you sense that it's slowed down because it's hit the end. And the end is something you're going to have to define for yourself. We're not torquing something until it's absolutely super tight. If you imagine a stress strain curve, most bolts go like this and they stop. But this particular bolt is going to have kind of a mushy top to it, or this nut. And the reason it has a mushy top is because it has a crush sleeve behind it. And if you proceed to crush that sleeve a whole bunch more, then we're going to have a problem. The differential will need to be taken apart, and we have to get a new crush sleeve and new bearings. And it's going to add considerable number of hours to this project. So getting the nut to the correct bit of tension on that top curve is critical. And this is the worst tool for feel. You won't be able to feel what's going on. So you have to use your finger, and you have to try to interpret what's actually happening at the end. You'll get a slight bit of an indication about what's happening by how much of a tendency this has to rotate.
Why are we using this?
Well, we don't have to. We can use a manual wrench. It's probably better. Just like a big old thing.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
And then we can put the thing around here and like set it
Yeah.
here, and then it will move this, and we can just turn that, and then it'll be easier to feel.
Should we do that?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that. I'm going to move this just to get away from that one spot. Alright, so hang on, I'm going to move this too. I'm going to move that too. Okay. Go for it. It goes the other way.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that?
What goes the other way?
The thing that you're trying to do, it goes the other way. It doesn't go that way. It only goes the other way, I should say. Well, you go ahead and try to fasten on there, and then maybe it'll become apparent. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
Probably not.
I'd say do it up here so you get out of the way of all that sticky stuff. Great. All right, I'll go shut the air off then. We're not going to use that. That will be fine. Smells nice outside. It's got that freshly rained scent in the air. I think they say that's ozone or something. All right, so now we're going to have to take extreme care. So not just whatever, but extreme care. Got to do a little force analysis. Okay? Good? What? What you got? Chicken butt?
Well, is there always a break in the washer?
Tell me more.
That line?
Oh, don't worry about that.
What is that?
I don't know. Nothing to be worried about.
What do you see?
When you say a break in the water, do you mean a washer or surface disruption or something?
I suppose so.
You can use that screw that's right there behind the white bar. It's just clean. That's all.
Oh. Okay. That's pretty good.
So, the force analysis I was talking about is, since you're going to be using this as your counter holder, you don't want to be lifting up, because you're just going to lift the differential up, right? So what do you want to do?
Push down.
Push like that, like so. Okay. Now you can get it close with that tool if you want, if it's already getting close. Okay, you want to do this? You feel it?
Oh, so.
Okay. I unhelpfully put the 6-point socket on there as opposed to the 12-point, so you have to rotate it 60 degrees.
I don't know what I'm looking for because it's already tightening.
That makes the problem, doesn't it? That makes it difficult. You don't know what you're looking for.
Probably at or close to the point.
Okay, let me feel it. Oh yeah, it just got a lot harder. So that's it right there. It went and then it kind of hit a kind of a wall. So that made me think we're right there. All right. Anyway, now we want to see if it rotates. If it does or doesn't, that can tell us something. Aha, it doesn't rotate. We have messed something up. Yes, we've messed something up. It's possible that that washer goes on the other side. Because technically it doesn't matter where this is. What does matter is the preload in the stack. But the location of individual items in the stack doesn't matter. But clearly this is wrong because it's now rubbing on the nose of the diff. So that can't be it. So let's back it off a little bit. And we shall see. It would have been fantastic if we'd marked it to start with. So we're playing a bit of a fool's errand here, trying to get it to work right. But should be worth it. The other choice is just it's so tight it's causing the bearing to bind, which would be unfortunate as well. Okay. Well, that was exciting. Can you lean on that thing? Go ahead and press it down and I'll do this part.
Keep going. Do what you're doing. Keep going. Okay, now you've changed the angle of the tool. I need that tool to be right there and stay there. That's the wrong angle of the tool. Okay, good. Stop. I'm not sure what's happening, but it doesn't seem like we're getting the progress that we hoped for. Okay, I think I want to move to that orange tool. I think I should probably do this.
The washer was in that orientation.
Okay. Okay, the bearing feels good to me right now. There's noise coming out of this, which means a clash between this form piece of sheet steel and this cast iron, which means we simply need to take a pounding punch of some sort, and we need to drive this collar back toward the front here. That's what we need to do now, so to relieve that clash. So, would you grab a chisel from 12.2?
Like this?
Yes, that would be fine. And what we're going to do is just progressively go around and see where the clash is and eliminate the clash.
What kind of hammer do you
Um, a small green hammer. Okay. Okay, so you hit it there. Just give it some hits. Oh, hang on. This thing isn't even on there. Okay, hit it again. Again. A little softer. Again. Again. A little softer. What I'm checking for is any vertical play,
Mhm.
and I don't sense any play. And the nut didn't seem any tighter than it needed to be to get us to this point. So I think that's going to be fine. In the future, when you take off a differential pinion nut, and you're not going to be replacing the bearings inside, the proper thing to do is to make some kind of an index in here that will let you know that there's the same orientation of the nut and the same number of threads back for the nut. So what I've done in the past is I've taken a thin grinding wheel, one of those super skinny ones, and I've just made a common cut in the end of the pinion shaft as well as the adjacent part of the nylock nut protrusion. And that way you can tell when that common sweep is achieved when you tighten the thing back in. Yeah, that seems fine.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Okay. Well, I'm really glad it covered up the nose of that differential just fine. So we'll have to do, next comes the detail clean. And then,
Was that testing the differential?
assessing the differential, yes.
That's done.
Yeah, that's done. We already looked at I'll pop the cover off once more and look, but I think we've done all of the assessment that we need to on this thing. It's passed all the tests with flying colors, just like every other thing on this car so far. Well, the only thing that didn't pass the test was the way the piston rings didn't seal. But that's no biggie.
Not.
What's that?
For 5 hours, unless I haven't marked something.
5 hours today. Okay.
All on the rear axle.
Okay. Oh, we need to do the test to determine. Oh, that's a pretty big clunk. Let's see what happens that causes that. I pulled the. I don't know. Well, we'll do our test and we'll see where the enmeshment marks are. I don't remember it having that much play in it. That's going to make a clunk when you get on and off the gas. I don't remember how much play it had in it. See, the pinion gear moves that far without actually driving the ring gear. So what is that, like a degree or two? 1 degree. Yeah. And the way that that's corrected is you put a shim underneath the pinion gear, the head of the pinion gear, and it drives it up a little bit higher and further into the ring gear. And the reason that's the case is because the pinion gear, the teeth are angled like this. So if you drive it up, it effectively becomes a wider gear, which digs deeper into these teeth. So we should see where the enmeshment point is. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark this, and then we're going to scratch it with the pinion gear and find out where the scratches indicate the enmeshment occurs. So if you clean off about 5 teeth really well with lacquer thinner, 5 reindeer teeth. We'll do that test. Oh, I have a new differential over here I can measure from the Jag.
Sorry, that was kind of a booby trap.
That's cool. I like booby traps. Traps are fun. And definitely not gay. I think, well, you'll have to feel this one and see what you think. I think this new differential has less play in it, which obviously that's going to be the case.
You'll hear that noise when you get on and off the throttle.
What did you want on these gears? Because while I'm cleaning them, that's where I want to know where they are.
Okay. Well, just a moment. I'll figure it out. Here we are. I think this is the stuff.
Just the fronts of them?
Both, everywhere on those
Oh.
on those gears. The whole thing, whole part of the gear needs to be coated with lacquer thinner to get it cleaned, and then the whole thing needs to be coated with paint.
Paint?
Yeah, we're gonna
Oh.
paint them. Oh.
Yeah, they're pretty clean.
Okay, great. So just give them a soft blow to clean off the lacquer thinner. And then what I want you to do is paint the surface on the leading edge and the trailing edge of the ring gear tooth. This tip part don't paint that. Just paint the leading edge and the trailing edge. Go ahead.
Inside here?
Correct. That's what we're going to measure. That's where the gear meshes. The pinion gear meshes inside of there. So we want to measure that, and we want to make sure that we're in the right zone.
Is this the leading edge?
I don't know yet. Just get both of them and make them nice, and we'll figure that
Down
part
here?
out in a minute. Down to there, all the way down. A nice big line. All the way up and down. Okay, that'll measure the outside of the gear. Now move one Sharpie line in. Nope. One Sharpie line in. Go down that way. Yep. And then the next, go in again. Nope. Got to go in that one again.
Can't go in further than this.
Really?
Yep.
Shoving
it in, and it's hitting a wall.
Can you change the angle of the Sharpie at all? To get in
I mean,
there?
it's hitting this thing,
Sure.
which is...
Well, let me see it then.
Okay.
Oh, no, I guess not. Never mind. I'm not going to do that. Go ahead.
Well,
Well, I was going to modify the Sharpie, but I'm not going to. It doesn't do it. Pardon me. Oh, that's not it. Darn it. You see the problem. That won't work either. Where's the cat? On the floor. Let's see. So that thing should go over here.
Got them all. You need to do this side, right? There's a whole nother side to those teeth. It needs to be done as well.
Okay.
Okay. Super. Sorry. You were. Sorry. Try to get in here and make this thing work, and it's only sort of working. Okay, fantastic. So now what we're going to do is shine a bright light in there, and you're going to roll it around. And when you get to the portion where the pinion gear is engaging with any of these teeth, going to apply resistance to the differential so that the pinion gear really has to scrape that paint. And then you're going to do it in reverse and apply force in the opposite direction against resistance in the opposite direction. Cause it right there. Okay, so now with your turning, you're going to want to resist that turning by putting your hand here and go in the opposite direction real hard as you scrape. Yep, scrape like that. Oh, you don't back up, just scrape through it.
Well, it was an accident.
Okay.
But I thought, wait, don't I back up as well?
You will. Yeah, just drive through it forward and drive through it backward and whatever. We're just trying to make sure you do a complete job. Might like what I have left in this tin. Oh, here it is. Let's see if we can do this without super annoying intensities. Not really. Sort of. Need like a little tube on there or something. Polycan. I think that'll work. So when you've scraped it enough, just let me know and we'll see what we can do about determining what the pattern is. Now that one has a really good rubber seal because it's a new differential. And the problem is the rubber seal presents a lot of resistance to rotation. So it makes it difficult to adequately determine what's going on. Doesn't really seem like this light is that helpful. It's not that helpful for the viewers. We're just going to have to pretend that it's not as detrimental as it is. Okay, so what'd you notice? Did you look at a pattern? What do you got for a pattern? Right there? So that's the off side. That is when you let off the throttle, that's where the contact patch is. When you apply the throttle, that's where the contact patch is.
There's no contact in the off throttle position.
Well, that's just because you pushed or pulled harder or something. It doesn't look like the paint's really scraped off properly. Let me try it and see if I can get it to scrape off better. I don't know. You did a good job of painting that thing. It's pretty serious. Maybe we're gonna have to do something different.
Can
Oh,
we do
okay.
that tomorrow? Because I really need to go to bed if I'm going to wake up early.
Sure. Well, that looks like it's right in the middle.
I don't understand what that means.
The contact patch?
Contact patch is right in the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the gear face.
Okay.
The tooth face. That seems pretty good.
How much are you going to continue being down here?
Yeah, just for a couple minutes.
Are you okay if I go up?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks for looking. I
Yeah,
appreciate it a lot.
you got it. Well, that looks pretty good. I don't know if we can see that very well. Can we? Looks good to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's where we sweep on the gear. That is the okay, so the drive side is here. That's the off side. And then we've got the drive side. Okay. Great. It's the end of the world as we know it. Okay. Keep the dust from falling in, but still sort of covered. Well, you know what we could do is
we could flip it over. And then it would be like it's putting air out, the dust won't come. Let's see here. How can we do that? That's not really beneficial. There we go. We don't go. That was going to be okay. That's mostly it. It won't get dusty like that.
Oh, that was amazing.